විහිදෙන ජීවිතේ.
වතුර ගත්තද? වතුර ගත්තා අපිට ලොකු පිනක් මේ කරලා දුන්න එක අපිට වග්ගඩු අමාරු තියෙන ඇත්තොන්ට හරි සහනයක් කරලා දුන්නා.
මහා විලච්ඡිය කඳුරු පිටියටත් ගම් මැද්දෙන් පානීය ජල ව්‍යාපෘතියක්.
A very good afternoon. You're watching Lunchtime News here on News First, where the people come first. Bringing you the news this afternoon, and Mariam Ganamajaya. First up is a look at your headlines.
Heated situation between Mainagama protesters and the police. Discussion between the president, MPs of the ruling faction and the independent group of MPs. Will the gas crisis be resolved? Regulations to encourage USD flows through the formal banking system, says CBSL governor. 4 police officers involved in the Rabukana shooting appear in courts.
In your lead story this afternoon, a heated situation was reported between the group of people protesting at the Mainagama Protest site opposite the temple trees and the police earlier this morning. The heated situation arose when the police made attempts to remove the placards hung in the police buses.
The only reason that this has been blocked is to stop people from protesting in front of the temple trees. But protesting is our right. It's a right given to us to peacefully gather, to peacefully show our dissent. But what they are doing is obstructing our right. They're obstructing our right to protest. They're obstructing our right to freedom of expression. And now they find it a problem that we are peacefully standing here with a poster up stuck onto the vehicle.
පොලිසිය මැරයෝ එන්නේ මෙන්න මේ වෙලාවේ. මේ බලය අයුතු ලෙස භාවිතා කිරීම.
අපි සාමකාමීව ගෙනෙච්ච මේ ආණ්ඩුවට අවශ්‍ය වෙලා තියෙනවා ගැටලුවක් නිර්මාණය කරන්න. ආණ්ඩුවෙන් කරන්න මේවට බස් දාලා දෙන්න අපේද?
මෙච්චර දවස් මේ නවත්තලා තියෙන බස් එකක්වත් පොලිසිය නෙමෙයි ඒගොල්ලෝ දන්නේ නැහැ කියලා කිව්වා කවුද ඇවිල්ලා නැවතුවේ කියලා. දැන් කියනවා මේවා අපේ බස්ලු. බලෙන් ඇවිල්ලා බෝට් එක සේනම ගැලුවා. බලෙන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඔක්කොම ඇවිල්ලා මෙතන වාඩි වුණා. නෑ. දැන් ඔබතුමන්ලා කිව්වා මෙච්චර කල් කිව්වා මේ බස් එකක්වත් ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ නෙමෙයි කියලා. ඒක අයින් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. නෑ ඔබතුමන්ලා දැන් ඔබතුමන්ලාගේ බස් කියලා කියන්නේ අයින් වෙනවා මේක අයින් වෙනවා. දැන් මේ බස් ඔබතුමන්ලාගේ ඔයාලට පේනවනේ කාගේ? ඉතින් අපි ආයි පෝට් ගහුවට ප්‍රශ්න නැහැ නේ. අපුණුත් වගේ කියන්නේ නැහැ. හරි මේමයි. අපි බෝඩ් වල මේකලා වගේ කියන්නේ මේ බස් එකක්. ඕ. බස් එකයි කියන්නේ. What how do you do it? Is it go it? ये आपे सहोदरයන් ආහාර එල්ල කරේ මෙතන ඉන්නේ SSP මේ කණ්ඩායම මේ ඇවිල්ලා බලෙන් ඒ කියන්නේ බලය අයුතු ලෙස භාවිතා කරමින් මේ සාමකාමී අරගලය නතර කරන්න එන මේ දතකන මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂගේ හෙන්චයියෝ
The people's protest opposite the President's office at Goldface Green in Colombo continues for the 21st day today. News First's Senita Senanayaka brings us the latest.
For more than 2 weeks,
the Occupy Golf-Face protest that has been happening in front of the President's office is happening today as well, and today people from many walks of life are here. They are holding placards and chanting slogans right in front of the President's office. And what's interesting is throughout all these days this environment seems to be clean, it seems to be free of plastic and free of trash. Now just a couple of meters ahead of this location and right in front of the temple trees there is another protest strike that has been set up. Mainly young people are here protesting. They're demanding the government and the President to resign immediately. I'm Senator Senanayaka reporting for News First, where the people come first.
Determined protesters spent the night yesterday outside the President's office in Colombo demanding the resignation of the government. Various events were carried out at the protest site last night as well. Different groups from the community gathered at the protest site today.
ගෝඨාභය මහත්තයෝ ඔයාට වැඳලා කියන්නේ මේ අරහත් දඩේ දාගෙන මේ මිනිස්සුන්ට තෙල් ටික ගහන්න පුළුවන් නම් දැම්ම ගිහිල්ලා තෙල් ටික දෙන්න මිනිස්සුන්ට මේ කන්න නැති අනාගතයක් එන්නේ ඉස්සරහට.
Protests are taking place across the island demanding the resignation of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The residents of Horana engaged in a protest against the government last night, bearing a torchlight. The protest took place at the Kumbuka Junction.
The solution for the current crisis in the country is not inside bunkers. If you cannot come out, speak to the people and provide a solution. You must go home.
The protesters noted that the government that did not provide solutions to the existing crises must resign. A protest was organized in Haliala yesterday. A group of people gathered near the Horana bus stand and staged a protest against the current regime last night. A group of workers from the garment industry engaged in a protest at the Ekala Junction yesterday. Now a discussion between the President and the MPs of the ruling faction together with the independent group of MPs is currently underway. The discussion is taking place at the President's house in Colombo. It was earlier reported that the discussions will focus on the structure of the proposed all-party government, which is to be appointed following the resignation of the present Cabinet of Ministers, including the Prime Minister. The period of implementation of the all-party government as well as who should be assigned responsibilities will also be discussed during the meeting. Moving on, the selling rate of the rupee against the US dollar has increased to 365 at licensed commercial banks. The buying price is at 350 rupees and the selling price of the sterling pound is at 457 rupees while the buying price is at 426 rupees. Still in local news, Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe says a staff-level agreement with the IMF is likely to be reached within the next 2 months. He made these remarks during a committee meeting of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce. Addressing the meeting, the CBSL governor assured that the IMF action will continue irrespective of the political landscape. He said, quote, while external debt restructuring remains a top priority for the Sri Lankan government, domestic debt in the form of government securities and Sri Lanka development bonds will not be restructured, unquote. Dr. Veerasinghe also announced that additional measures will be implemented in order to address the urgent economic concerns. The measures include introducing regulations to encourage US dollar flow in the informal market to be channeled through the formal banking system. Addressing the meeting, the governor stressed that all creditors will be treated equally in the debt restructuring process. The governor sought the assistance of the private sector in successfully implementing measures to stabilize the economy. A recent survey conducted by the Centre for Alternative Policy has revealed that 96.2% of Sri Lankans believe that all politicians should be audited and all their unaccounted wealth should be confiscated by the state.
According to this poll by the Centre for Policy Alternatives, 89.7% want Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa to resign, while 87.3% Sri Lankans want President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to resign. Further, 89.6% of Sri Lankans want the Rajapaksa family out of Sri Lankan politics. 88% of Sri Lankans have either been in line or had a family member stay in line to obtain essential items such as gas, fuel, milk powder and fertilizer over the past 1 month. According to the Confidence in Democratic Governance Index prepared by the Centre for Policy Alternatives, only 12% have not been in a queue for essentials. Meanwhile, 90% of Sri Lankans have had their income or their family's income affected as a result of the current economic crisis. 55.9% say that all 225 MPs must resign from Parliament, while another 74% say that the executive presidential system must be abolished.
The Ministry of Trade says the gas shortage will be resolved by the end of next month. The subject minister says the issue will be resolved when Litro and Loves receive assistance from the Indian credit line. Minister Shehan Semasinghe has said arrangements have been made to select several more suppliers with the intervention of the Government of India. The World Bank will also provide $90 million to purchase gas. Minister Semasinghe has said that the money will be distributed according to the market size of Litro and Loves. Meanwhile, Litro Gas said that in the future, gas distribution will be given priority to the urban cities. That is because 25% of gas consumers live in urban cities. Litro Gas said previously 60,000 gas cylinders were supplied to the market daily, but in the future that number will have to be reduced to 30,000. Meanwhile, the unloading of gas from the ship carrying 3,900 metric tons of gas that arrived in Sri Lanka yesterday has commenced. Meanwhile, a heated situation arose at a filling station in Bulletin in Negombo last night after the supply of kerosene was restricted due to 2 sudden power outages. The owner of the filling station had informed the customers that they had run out of kerosene after the second power cut took place at around 10 p.m. Our correspondent reported that due to the heated situation, several damages were caused to the filling station. People had been queuing up at the Daluputta filling station in Negombo to obtain kerosene since yesterday afternoon.
We have been here since 2:30 p.m. After issuing fuel for 5 people, the power went off. Power was restored only after 4 hours. We stayed here despite the rain. They are now saying that they do not have kerosene oil.
Several people alleged that the owner of the filling station had hidden stocks of kerosene. Upon investigations, the Negombo police confirmed that he had in fact hidden kerosene stocks. Kerosene was later sold to the public following the investigations. Today marks the fourth day of the march named the Freedom Struggle by the Samagi Jana Balavegaya. The march will proceed from Bangovita to Yakala today. The SJB's Freedom Struggle, which commenced from Kandy on Tuesday, is set to reach Colombo on the 1st of May. Meanwhile, a group of independent parliamentarians met Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Gopal Bagle, yesterday to discuss the current economic and political situation in the country. Issuing a tweet, the Indian High Commission said that according to the High Commissioner, India would continue to support Sri Lanka. The group of parliamentarians had conveyed their gratitude to the people of India for standing by Sri Lanka. President's Counsel Anil Silva has informed the three-member judge panel at the Special High Court today that preliminary objections will be filed against the continuation of the case against 10 accused, including former Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran. The special three-judge bench today ordered that the relevant objections be filed in court on the 26th. Now, the case is taken up before a special three-judge bench comprising Special High Court judges Champa Janaki Rajaratna, Damit Thotavatta and Namal Balale. Moving on, former SSP for Kegol KB Kirtiratna and 3 police constables who were arrested in connection to the shooting incident during a protest in Rambukana recently will be produced in court today.
Senior DIG and senior police spokesperson Ajit Rohana, speaking to Newsfirst, said that 4 police officers were arrested by the Criminal Investigations Department as per an order issued by the Kegol Magistrates Court. SSP KB Kirtiratna was arrested while he was at the Narayanpeta Police Hospital, and the 3 police constables who were part of the firing team were arrested while at the Kundasale Police Hospital. Police spokesperson SSP Nihal Thalduwa, speaking to Newsfirst, said that the SSP Kirtiratna will be produced to the Colombo court and the 3 constables will be produced to the Kandy court. He added that KB Kirtiratna had ordered to open fire during the protest in Rambukana and the police constables had opened fire at the protesters.
Moving on to news overseas, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif arrived in Saudi Arabia yesterday, his first foreign trip since assuming office. Now he is on a 3-day visit at the invitation of Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Medina Governor Faisal bin Salman Al Saud and high-level Saudi officials received the Prime Minister and his delegation. The Prime Minister was accompanied by key cabinet members including Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, Finance Minister Miftah Ismail, Narcotics Control Minister Shah Hussain Bukhti, Information Minister Mariam Aurangzeb and Defence Minister Khawaja Asif. Federal Minister Chaudhry Salik Hussain, Maulana Tahir Ashrafi and MNA's Mohsin Dawar and Khalid Makbul Siddiqui also joined Prime Minister Shehbaz on the official visit. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky met with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in Kyiv for talks yesterday amid the ongoing Russian invasion. The meeting came after the United Nations chief surveyed the destruction in small towns surrounding the capital and saw some of the horrors of the first onslaught of the war.
Ukraine is an epicenter of unbearable heartache and pain. I witnessed that very vividly today around Kyiv. The senseless loss of life, the massive destruction, the unacceptable violations of human rights and the laws of war. It is vital that the International Criminal Court and other UN mechanisms conduct their work so that there can be real accountability. The position of the United Nations is clear. As I said in Moscow, Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a violation of its territorial integrity and of the Charter of the United Nations.
And with that, we wrap up this edition of Lunchtime News here on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Mariam Gunavijaya. This is News First, where the people come first. Have yourself a very good day.